What's up guys? Today I'm going to be ranking every single Cuphead boss from easiest to hardest. I'll be determining the list by how hard it is to get an edge rank on the boss. The DLC will not be included in this at all because I made the list without beating the DLC before, so my bad I guess. But I'm going to be basically, all of this footage is not mine. I had to use videos from somebody else because I beat all of the bosses without recording a really long time ago. So, yeah, sorry about that, but yeah. Without that, but with all of that cleared up, here's the list. Number 19 is going to be Goopy Legrand, because this is the easiest boss in the entire game. All he does is just jump around, occasionally punch you, and it's super simple for both phases. The last phase is super simple as well, because all you have to do is just hit the tombstone, and he only does literally one attack. The parries are no issue, the health is no issue, it's a super easy fight. Number 18 is going to be the Root Pack, another extremely easy fight. However, I wouldn't say it's free like the other one. You need to get all three parries of the potato because parrying the tears in the second phase are pretty difficult. I honestly can't even really tell any difference between the carrot in regular and expert. The carrot is already super easy. I guess the carrots move faster or something along those lines. But overall, this fight is extremely easy, and it should be no issue to beat. This fight is easily my favorite in the entire game. The only thing that might give you problems is the first phase. However, if you learn where all of the parry placements are, and where all of them are going to land, it should be pretty simple. The second phase should be pretty easy too, however, try not to get bamboozled by it. It can be very hard to do, considering you just passed the hardest part of the fight. However, it should be no issue once you get past it. Then all you have is the final phase. Watch where the big vines or whatever, whenever they appear, make sure you don't step on that platform. However, the few little pellets or whatever they are, they're very easily avoidable. You literally just have to jump over them. And then this fight should be over, which is, yeah, I don't know, it's a very easy fight. This might be a very big shock, however, I found Captain Brinybeard to be one of the easiest fights in the entire game. For parrying, he shoots out this little squid. You just have to parry his objects. All you have to do is just pay attention, and then this fight is actually super easy. For when the boat becomes a shark or a whale or whatever it is supposed to be, all you have to do is just stay near him and then just jump as soon as the little thingy in his mouth shoots out a fireball. And then if you use roundabout, you can hit him the entire time. Just make sure to activate the barrel right before he lands right on your face. You can also parry the beam if you need extra parries. Sally's stage play is a very easy World 3 boss. The only issue that I can see is getting all three parries, because the only places you can parry are the first and last phase, and parrying at the last phase is very difficult. So you want to parry at the first phase, and she does the heart attack that she hardly even really does, so you have to wait for her to do it. And it gets very annoying sometimes if she doesn't. This is why I would say that this is the first little learning gap. The first place where you'll actually struggle trying to get these S ranks. Because if she doesn't do it, and you're super unlucky, it could be a massive issue. Second phase is super annoying, however, once you get past it, it's very free from here on out. Probably another really big shocker to some people is going to be King Dice at number 14. This is supposed to be one of the hardest fights in the entire game. So why is it this high up? Well, it's because you can control the dice entirely. You can choose what fights you want to fight, and it really doesn't matter, because all of these fights are really easy no matter what. It doesn't matter what fights you choose, just choose the ones that are the easiest, and then you can make your way onto the main show. Here we are at King Dice. I would say that this fight itself is actually pretty tough. Parrying the cards is not the easiest thing in the world. And considering you have to be perfect for the S rank, I recommend the invincibility here. It'll definitely help. And considering the parryable cards give you a little bit of super, I would say use it every single chance that you get. And just fire on it as much as you can. Because the sooner this fight is gone, just the better it is. Number 13 is going to be Werner Werman. This fight is an interesting one. You fight a little rat inside this little can, and I'd recommend getting as many parries as you can on the first phase. Just hope that you get the spoon attack. But the bomb attack is actually a lot more straightforward than it seems. So, once you get to his second phase, that's the only point where it's actually pretty difficult. Just try to stay calm, don't be on the same level as him, and then you'll be on to the last phase, which is the cat. And the cat is really easy. Just watch where the projectiles go on him, and then when the ghosts pop out, just avoid them. I don't know. There's no other way to say it. Just avoid his attacks, and then it'll be easy. Here we have probably the first true problem boss that'll definitely give you quite a hard time trying to S-rank. What's annoying is that the first 3 phases are always going to be random creatures. You can't really get good practice in because you're not sure which creature is going to appear. Another issue is the parrying. The parryable little jelly beans that walk with swords at the bottom, they're not always pink. Second, they don't really appear too often. And then third, you could definitely try. You can get hit while trying to get another parry. So, once you get to the final phase, it becomes a lot easier because all you have to really worry about is their stupid little heads. And just a quick warning, she does not give good head. But anyway, the peppermints are really not that hard to dodge either. Overall, this fight is honestly not that bad. However, I will say it is the first fight that's going to give you a lot of problems. Ribby and Croaks is very difficult. However, it's definitely not impossible if you know the right strategies. If you jump up and down facing backwards during this first phase, it makes getting rid of all of the little flies at the top a lot less of a problem. And then also, for parrying, you just gotta remember their placements. And parrying in this fight is really the thing that makes it go so far up here. And I don't know what those little arrows on the screen are, but whatever. I guess I have no idea what those arrows are for. But anyway, the second phase is actually super easy. He'll throw like these things that go like up and down on the screen, and then sometimes he'll also throw the stuff from his first phase attack. But other than that, not much to say for the second phase. And then for the third phase, that's when it really gets real. The fights here on Expert really make this final phase a lot harder. First of all, the coins. I hate the coins. They spew out in such stupid patterns. I guess I'll go over every single one of the fights here. The first one is Bowls, I guess. I think it's Bowls. I would say that this one's probably the easiest compared to normal on Expert. It's just not too terribly bad, but I have the biggest trouble with snakes, because sometimes the platforms get extremely spread about, and it's very hard to keep aim. And the next is Tigers, which is a lot harder on expert, however, you can definitely get used to it. Overall, this boss is very difficult, however, it is one that gets a lot easier as time goes on. Next is going to be Hildeberg, which I consider the hardest boss of Inkwell, Ohio 1. This fight, I hate those stupid green zeppelins. That's the main thing that really the thing that I just cannot stand about this fight. The stupid green zeppelins appear all the time, and it's especially annoying when you're fighting the other, like, little, like, all the other obstacles and stuff. So, it's just, the green zeppelins just really, I wish they were gone. But other than that, I would say that this fight is one of the best in the entire game. It's extremely fun. However, one thing that I can definitely say that I don't like is the fourth phase with the stupid arrow guy shooting arrows at you. There's not really anything you can do, you just have to avoid them. And then, I would say the rest of the boss here, if you've gotten all your parries, it's a cakewalk. And it gets really difficult at the moon. However, if you can avoid the stars pretty well, then it's not going to be that bad. But overall, I would say that this boss isn't too terribly bad, as long as you learn it. Number 9 is surprisingly Grimastic. This fight is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest, on regular. However, since the changes in the cloud direction, all of a sudden this fight is drastically easier. Like, I mean drastically. The only hard thing is the first phase and getting your parries. Other than that, this fight is really not that hard on expert. And it's really odd that they switched the stupid cloud directions. All of a sudden, what should be a really hard fight is just really not. But anyways, the second phase is where it gets a little bit harder, I guess. However, I do have a very valuable tip. Don't move until the fire things move, because you can't really move out of their way until they're actually, like, moving. Because instead of homing in on where you are, they home in on to where you're going. They see the trajectory of which you're going to hit you, which makes dealing with this phase a lot harder. So try to stay in the same spot for as long as you can until you have to move. The last phase is drastically easier on expert. Don't not shoot though. You want to shoot even if you shoot a fireball on accident, it's not the biggest thing in the world because Lobber does so much damage that the fight is literally about to end right now. And as you can see, boom, it's already gone. This fight is so easy, it's not even funny. Number 8 is going to be Beppy the Clown, which is another pretty difficult one. First phase and second phase, honestly, are pretty easy. Third phase, you really have to stay under the donkey, you know? Because anywhere else, it's going to be a problem. And honestly, the last phase isn't really that bad either. The thing that makes this fight so infuriating, though, is the stupid little train that goes around the entire time. All these stupid little yellow passengers, no matter what you're trying to do or whatever you're trying to dodge, there's literally no good time. The train will always go in the worst time. At least parrying isn't really an issue because you can always parry the little nose. But still, this fight is just extremely irritating with the stupid nose that'll always fuck you up. But other than that, this fight isn't too terribly bad. However, we definitely are reaching a point where the fight is going to become really difficult. This is the first boss that I would say is where we're cracking into some of the hardest things you will ever do in video gaming history. Starting with Rumor Honeybottoms, this fight is just straight up annoying. The platforms that decrease, the ones that just fall, and then first phase is really not that hard, however you do need to get as many parries as you can there. Second phase is just annoying. When there's not a platform and you're trying to jump, it gets extremely frustrating. Because you're just trying your best to actually get through this stupid fight, and then this stupid bee just makes it so that's not going to happen. But anyway, the last phase, you're definitely going to either want to use Chaser or any roundabout or lobber. Because with roundabout and lobber, you can actually aim down, or you can aim up, and then you don't really have to worry about hitting her because it's going to hit her anyway. And with Chaser, you obviously don't even have to aim at all. But this fight is just straight up obnoxious. That's the only reason why it's this high up on the list. A lot of people find Phantom Express to be extremely easy. However, I very much disagree. Auto parry is a necessity here, so you really need to use it. And the stupid pumpkins just never stop coming out to try to ruin your day. However, a little trick for the first phase is that you can parry the other side of the cart to make it so that the other side of the cart is unaffected. But anyways, then we're on to the second phase, and his stupid head can definitely mess you up. But other than that, I would say that the second phase, and honestly not even really the third phase, is that difficult, but the last phase is just torment. If you're not using Chaser, there's really nothing you can do. You really have to use it. And for the stupid bones that spew back at you, it's extremely irritating too. But don't try to focus on aiming during that phase. It's just not going to get you very far. But yeah, that's basically it for this fight. I mean, I guess it's fitting that the final boss is actually pretty difficult. However, it being this hard to get an S rank on is just insane. The first phase is just so many projectiles everywhere. And the stupid little goat thing, like when he turns into a goat and then you have to jump over his little hand, is absolutely terrible. I hate it so much. But for parrying, it's not that big of a deal because the second phase isn't that bad for parrying. But the third phase is just so insanely difficult, and I hate it more than anything. But then there's also the last phase, which is just a nightmare. You need invincibility just for that phase, because it is just not fun when you don't have that. But I will say that I do think that this boss is one of the best bosses in the entire game. I mean, it's the final one. It's supposed to be pretty difficult. However, I will say that this is one of the hardest things that I've ever done in any video game ever. However, I will say that I probably had the hardest time with this one, but that's just kind of my opinion. But I don't think it's fair to put the devil at number 1 just because I thought that it was pretty difficult. I generally believe that it shouldn't be that hard. I think I just had a really hard time in the moment, you know? I don't generally think that this boss should be the hardest. But anyway, that's basically it. Yeah, this boss is gonna require some luck. And I mean some dumb luck. If you can even get past the first phase, you're pretty lucky. However, the second and third phases is what really makes this fight go as high up as it is. If it wasn't for the fact that she could petrify you at every single little moment that you have, then I would say that this fight would probably be like, I don't know, like 8, 9, probably even higher than that. But the stupid petrifying is what puts this fight so high up, because it's literally just luck. I mean, I got this one pretty quickly, but that's just because I got lucky. And it's just insane. This fight takes so much energy, so much time, and considering the first phase is already so difficult, this fight is just insane. I will say that it's probably not as bad as some of the future ones. That's why it's at number 4, not like number 1. But just know, you're going to need a lot of luck if you want to clear this one. Welcome to my nightmare. This definitely ruined the Iron Giant for me in every single way possible. The only nice thing about this, of getting an S rank on it, is the fact that the laser at the top is nerfed on expert for some reason, which I have no idea why. But I'm so happy for that, because this fight would definitely be in number 1 if it wasn't for that. But anyway, the first phase is just whatever. It really doesn't matter, it's not that hard. Second phase, even easier. You know what makes this fight so difficult? Is the stupid last phase, the stupid bullet hell, the stupid little things that block your path so you can't even hit the boss, and this cackling little freak. He's so stupid, and I hate it. And getting this boss within the time limit is actually really difficult too, which it seems like probably the thing about S ranking that is the easiest, is getting it within the time limit. But for this boss, since there's so much other things that you have to hit, and the fact that they have the stupid little barriers that block your path, it makes this fight so difficult. So I definitely do not like it. Make sure to parry in the last phase as much as you possibly can so you can charge your supers up, because you need to use them in every single little chance that you get. Let's just say it's not a good day for a swell battle when you're fighting Jimmy the Great. This guy is very, very luck reliant, as well as Calamaria. I would say a little bit less, and it's a lot more about skill. But this first phase can either be terrible or amazing for you. It could be one or the other. For the first phase, it can have treasure, or cats, or knives. And I find cats to be the easiest, but the stupid little beams that he shoots from his head too are really annoying. The second phase is literally the only easy part about this fight. There's no other part that's easy. And so then you reach the third phase, and it's definitely not terrible. There's a lot worse phases, and if you bomb Jimmy right before he goes back and disappears, then this phase should last almost no time at all. But then the stupid puppet. I do have an actual good strategy for this. Every single time that he's about to start shooting, I would say use your super right then, because then the hat is not going to really be an issue, because it's going to start when the hat's nowhere to be seen, basically. But the hat that follows you around this entire time is extremely obnoxious. But nothing compares to the final phase. The final phase makes this fight insane. Everything before this was not that bad, and not too luck reliant, but this is annoying. First, the pyramids block your shot, so you can't even really see which direction that you're shooting. And then if he shoots a beam right in the middle of where you're supposed to go to dodge the triangle, it's basically over. I would say try to save a little super for this part, because you're going to need it. And also, the timer sucks on this fight too.
Good game for a well battle. Here goes.
If you've played this game ever in your life, you would know why this fight is so difficult. However, I'll explain it, I guess. So basically, on regular, the eggs are very easy. Well, no. Yes, on regular, the eggs are very easy to dodge. However, on expert, they shoot in the two directions, which are basically your safe zone. So there's literally no place in this fight that is safe. Everywhere else is just a nightmare. But anyways, that's phase 1, and phase 1 takes a lot of time to get used to. Phase 2 isn't really that hard either though, because you just have a bunch of feathers to deal with. And I would say that this is probably the easiest part of the fight. But phase 3 is where it truly gets real, because phase 3 has this stupid little sun, and this fight single-handedly made me hate children. But that's besides the point. He has 6 little eggs that are spinning extremely fast around him. However, I do have a little tip. Go inside and then shoot him, and then come back out. Then he'll shoot his little gun. So then, once you go back in, you want to go back in with your super. And then, that'll take him down almost all the way. Once you come back in for the 3rd time, then he'll be dead. And that's just a pretty valuable tip for that one. But the 4th phase is just a nightmare. He's gonna shoot a bunch of garbage, and when he's on the right side, that makes this phase way easier. But once he goes to the left, it's a nightmare. However, it is actually very luck dependent on if he's even gonna go over there or not. When he shoots his trash can over there, that's when it gets really messy. However, save your super for exactly when he goes over to that left side. Then you can easily take care of him. But yeah, that's the hardest boss in the game. At least in my opinion. So, hope you enjoyed this little video that I did. I haven't really made anything like this before, so I hope you enjoy it. And sorry if my commentary is absolutely terrible. I'm not very good at, like, speaking, like, my actual thoughts and stuff, translating it well, so sorry about that if any of that was messy, but that's gonna be the end of this video. If you want me to do more like this, or if you want me to rank the DLC bosses and how hard it is to get an S rank on those, if this video is received well, then I'll do the DLC bosses, and then if that video keeps receiving well and everything is good, then I'll do all of the bosses which you can get coins on. But anyway, that's gonna be it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.